Hello, Next Change. Here I am with my new cell phone. I lost my cell phone and I felt like crying. I had so many things, so many videos, so much stuff. But life goes on. I hate the fact that, it's not the phone, but it's the pictures and the videos and different messages and everything. I lost them. But anyway, so this is my first video on my new phone. And what was on my heart this morning to talk about was the illusion of love. And I was thinking about it, that sometimes we find ourselves in these relationships and we get caught up in these things that they really aren't true love or real love, or sometimes we think they're soulmates, or whatever other idea that we have. And really it's none of the above. It really is just an illusion of love. And what I'm considering the illusion of love are these things that we make up in our minds. So we meet someone and they're nice, they're charming, and you're in this relationship with them before you know it. It doesn't have to be a physical relationship. You can see I'm driving on my way to work, but it can be an emotional relationship. So there are physical attachments, there are emotional attachments, there are all these attachments that we get for other people for whatever the reason, that we feel like they are fulfilling some type of void in our life. They're serving some type of function in our life. And it doesn't always have to be like a positive thing, but we turn it into a positive thing. And we usually turn it into a positive thing because at one point it started off in a positive way. So it was either they were really nice, it was something charming about them, we had a lot of things in common, but nonetheless, here we are with them. And the illusion comes in when the person is not meeting our needs. They're not giving us what we want. So at that point, usually in a relationship, if people aren't meeting our needs, we begin to tell them what we need. If they're not giving us what we want, we begin to tell them what we want. So we try to, some of us try to shape them or change them, but for the most part, we just try to be open and inform or educate them. And if they want the relationship to work, they're going to adhere to what those needs are, or those desires or wants turn out to be. And it's usually not something that has to just change who they are as a person, but they're just things that people do. It's love, to meet each other's needs, or because they love each other. What happens is, a lot of us, especially women, when we don't get those needs met, when we don't get those things that we want, we begin to settle. And in our settling, we begin to create this illusion of a relationship. So it's really not what we want. So we begin to make excuses for, well, this is why they're doing this. Well, this is why they're doing that. This is this. And we look at the few good things that they're doing, or even the plethora of good things that they're doing. So they're doing things, but they might not be giving. And it's not all the time what you do, it's really a lot of times what you give. And when I'm talking about what you give, I'm talking about your heart, or your commitment, your loyalty, your integrity, your character. You can give those things. and then you will have corresponding actions. But then sometimes you just have people that do things without giving those things, and they're just perfunctory. And then it is meeting some type of selfish agenda or personal something that they need at the time. Nonetheless, the illusion of a relationship, usually in that illusion of a relationship, we make excuses. We fill in the gaps for what we're not getting. So it's like, we fill in that gap for what we're not getting with what we are getting, and we stretch that over the canvas to fill in those gaps. And all the things that we're getting from the person that we don't want or we don't like, we normalize those things. Sometimes intentionally, subconsciously, or they just become normalized because that's what happens to maladaptive patterns that we allow to persist. So it just normalizes our lives, normalize the things we don't like and we don't want if we don't change them. So when we're not getting what we want in a relationship, and we let it just go on and on and on and on until it develops a pattern of normalization, we begin to create an illusion for ourselves. So now we're in this one-sided relationship where we are giving heart and soul. We are giving everything. And we even start to believe or to accept what they're giving as what we're giving. And it's not. It's just not. So some people, because we all have different personalities and different character traits, different beliefs. Some people stay. Well, some people leave. Some people walk away from a situation like that. And they say, well, this is not what I want. And they walk away and leave. These are people that I would say are well evolved. When you can just see that, and you're a well evolved person. If you see that you're being abused and you walk away. And all the time, because you're not getting what you want doesn't necessarily mean you're being abused. But a lot of times it is. So if you're with somebody, for example, and they're dating other people and, being intimate with other people, that is emotional abuse. Or if they're condescending, they're lying, they're putting you down, they're creating doubt, they're gaslighting you, that's emotional abuse. If they're physically harming you, that's emotional abuse. If they're putting task demands on you that you feel very uncomfortable with, that's emotional abuse. And there's a whole bunch of other things that are emotional abuse that we normalize. But the point is that there is that, once again, that illusion that you are in a loving relationship. And the person is not necessarily tricking you, or, they're not necessarily doing that. But we do that to ourselves, and we're walking around with these false hopes and false expectations. And, well, yeah. It's just a lie. And we poured ourselves into this cup. we've poured ourselves out like a drink, and we become stuck. And then everything is just, it's fake. It's not real. And we can end up going day to day to day in an illusion of a relationship. It's early in the morning. But I guess what I'm saying is, check yourself, check your relationship, check and see if it's in fact an illusion. You know, some people are in relationships where the other person has no intention of marrying them, no intention of committing themselves to them, no intention of being loyal, no intention of stopping emotional abuse. They have no intention for those things. They may talk like they do, but they really have no intention. So you really have to stop in a relationship and look at it and say to yourself, is this what I imagined for myself? Is this the dream? Not the perfection, but is this the dream I had for myself? Is this what I imagined? And if you're saying, this is not the dream that I have for myself, this is not what I imagined what I had for myself, you know, is this something that you would want your daughter or your son to have for themselves? You know, you have to look at it, you know, objectively. Is this good? Is this healthy? And if it's not, and you are just continually feed that, you continually pursue it, you continually, when I say feed it, I mean you continually nourish it. If you continually nourish it, you know, you're disillusioned. And you have to stop the chaos. You have to stop the crazy. Because it's crazy. Nobody can stop the crazy for you. You have to do it yourself. So, this is my suggestion. Set a timer on your clock. Do it when you don't have to go to work the next day. Wake yourself up. Wake yourself up at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Just when you know that it's quiet. When the house is quiet. When the environment is quiet. When the streets are quiet. When your neighbors are quiet. Wake yourself up and ask yourself the question, is this what I imagined for myself? Is this an illusion? Am I disillusioned? Ask yourself that. And then take it from there.